Well, everyone. It is NFL Draft Day, and welcome to my 2025 mock draft. I haven't made one that yet this year. I recorded two of them, didn't like them, so didn't upload. But here we are. It is actually I'm recording this at 5:59 p.m. Central, so 1 hour before the draft starts. I'm gonna upload it right after I finish recording. I'm not gonna edit anything, and it'll have a thumbnail sometime during the draft. I don't have time to make a thumbnail, but I just wanted to get a mock draft out before the actual draft. And this will be an interesting one, guys. For the first, this will be a very fun draft. For the first time, I really don't know what's happening after pick one in a while. That's the first time in a while that's happened. Usually it's just quarterback, 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 and there's not really that many high end quarterbacks people are willing to take high. Shador Sanders went from being the second pick to maybe not even top 20, which is insane to me. Uh, so, this is just my opinion of what I think is going to happen and a little bit of what I would do if I was the teams drafting these guys. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to stop talking. Let's get right into it. And we are going to not do trades. We're just going to have it be set up how it is now. And we are on the clock as the Tennessee Titans. This one is the only easy pick on the board in my eyes. It's been Cam Ward for months now, and they're going to get their guy, their franchise guy, at pick one. Now, this is where it gets interesting. What will probably end up happening is they just take Travis Hunter, but I could easily see them trading back. I could easily see them trading back up after taking Hunter for Shador in the later rounds. It's just it's a matter of who is going to go up and get, like, who is willing to trade for pick two. And I don't think anybody's willing to go up for any of these quarterbacks at the moment. Jackson Dart's kind of come out of nowhere. I don't buy it. I think it's a smokescreen. I I just don't. I don't buy it at all. I'll believe it when I see it, but we're gonna have Travis Hunter go two to the Browns. Absolute stud of an athlete. Gonna play both sides of the ball, and he'll be good at it. Now, this is where I think a little bit of the draft buzz is also another smokescreen because despite reports, everything indicates the Giants are going QB. Maybe it's not pick three. Maybe they actually do trade back, or like I said for the Browns, you trade back into the back end of the first round to get Jackson Dart because Dable seems to love Jackson Dart. I think right here they're just going to go get their guy, Shador Sanders. Now, New England is on the clock. My team, my New England Patriots. And honestly, this would be great if this actually happened because then you just take Abdul Carter. Most likely, though, the Giants don't take Shador and they take Carter and probably trade back up for Shador because three is a little rich for Shador Sanders at this point, it seems. In that scenario, I would like the Patriots to trade back and maybe still get a left tackle. Honestly, what would be great is if they trade back, get left tackle, and then from there also go back up into the first and get Egbuka. I think Egbuka is going to be the best receiver in this class. Absolutely love him out of Ohio State. I don't think he makes it to the second round. There's no shot. If I'm New England, you trade back, draft your left tackle, Banks or Campbell, and then you trade back up into the first and get Egbuka. You get your protection for your franchise in Drake May and a weapon for him. But in this scenario, we're going to take Abdul Carter. Jacksonville. Now, up until today, I've always had them taking Mason Graham. But recently, Ashton Genty has been shooting up the boards, and Jacksonville's very interested. However, I still think they had such a bad run defense last year, and they have needs outside of running back. ETN is a fine running back. I think they take Mason Graham still. Now, I'm a little back and forth on this because Pete Carroll historically really loves cornerbacks, and Will Johnson is still here for him. But Pete also really loves to run the ball. Like, really, really loves to run the ball. And Ashton Genty's sitting right here in his lap at 6. And he's such an unreal talent, so it's hard for me to say otherwise that Genty doesn't go here. And I think he is going to go here. We're going to give Ashton Genty to the Raiders. The New York Jets. See, now here, the Jets can go a lot of different ways. They have a lot of different needs. It won't be quarterback, I don't believe. I'd be shocked. This would be like Atlanta last year when they took Penix, like nobody saw that coming. If the Jets maybe say go Shador or Jackson Dart here, not out of the realm of possibility, but I don't think it happens. They don't need receiver. They could keep trying with tackle. I just don't see it. There's a lot of different options here, but I really think they're going to go and get Tyler Warren out of Penn State. Unreal tight end talent. Tight ends are becoming more and more useful in this day and age. And I think this is the prime opportunity for them to go and get a cornerstone on that offense and prepare for next year when they probably take a quarterback. Panthers sitting here at 8. Now, their defense is horrible, but they also don't really have weapons. They have Leggett, who looks promising, but maybe is not a 1. Bryce Young is starting to develop, and they still need a lot of help weapon wise. You can't have Adam Thielen be your 1 when he's ancient. So I think they'll be happy with Tet McMillan here out of Arizona. Now the Saints. For a while, I had the Saints taking Will Johnson, Marshawn Lattimore replacement, but recently, with the random retirement of Ryan Ramczyk, they have a glaring hole at tackle. They have a glaring hole in a lot of places. I think they probably go quarterback in second or third round. Jalen Milroe comes to mind for them at the top of the second. Maybe I really think we're going to have teams trade back up into the back end of this round and get one of these quarterbacks. But we'll see. But with that being said, with the glaring need at tackle now for them, I'm going to have them take an in-state household name, Will Campbell out of LSU. And I think they'd be ecstatic with that. I really do think Campbell will go to the Patriots. It's kind of a pipe dream for me for them to trade back, get Igbuka and Kelvin Banks or Will Campbell. That would be dream scenario, but it's probably not going to happen. Chicago Bears are on the clock here, and they're a little upset because they wanted Ashton Genty, but they're sitting here. They spent on offense, and now it's time to draft defense. And there's a lot of different ways they can go here. You know, it's really I really don't know for the Bears. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what they're planning to do. They don't need receiver. They don't need quarterback. They don't need tight end. They just short up the O line, so they don't really need to draft on that. Defensively, they could use another edge, and I really do like Mike Green out of Marshall here, and that'd be, I think according to most draft boards, that'd be a reach. But I like Mike Green, good edge player. Do we have? Let's look at some other edges. I think James Pierce and Shamar Stewart are definitely in play. I think Shamar Stewart's very underrated. Absolute stud. James Pierce had an okay year, but was expected to be a top 5 guy. I think the talent's still there. I haven't seen Mike Green at the top of a lot of boards. So I think the pick here is either Pierce or Stewart, and we're going to go with James Pierce out of Tennessee at pick 10 for the Bears. Now, here at 11, the Niners, desperate need at tackle, O-line in general. And Kelvin Banks is sitting right here. I think Josh Simmons is underrated. Membo came out of nowhere. I never trust tackles that were on anybody's radar till the combine because that means they're very raw. It's going to take a few years for them to get adjusted. Kelvin Banks is ready now. He's pancaking people all over the place. We're going to have Kelvin Banks go pick 11 to the 49ers. Cowboys on the clock. They have a plethora of needs on offense. Amarian Hampton comes to mind. Could be a fun pick for them here. Not at 12, maybe a little high. They really do need receiver as well. Now, there's a few here that I would like for them to have, and they do their homework on receivers. It could be Buka or Golden. I think those are the two options here for them. Just because he's higher on the boards, I'm going to have them draft Matthew Golden. He's been connected to them all offseason. Dolphins desperately need an offensive lineman, especially with the retirement of Armstead now. They're going to get the kid out of Missouri here at pick 13, and I think they'll be happy with that. The Colts. Colts kind of are one of those teams that don't have a glaring hole anywhere except quarterback. Uh, they're gonna give Richardson another year, probably draft quarterback next year. Their O line's still good. They can maybe use another edge, and Malachi Starks could be the pick here, but safety's top 20 is kind of rare. I think they take Will Johnson here, and they're happy about it. I think they'd be very happy with that. Will Johnson falls to pick 14. If I'm being real, this is kind of just a different take on previous mock drafts I've done. If I'm being real, Abdul Carter probably doesn't go to New England. And Will Campbell probably doesn't fall to the Saints. I think Will Johnson will go to the Saints at pick 9. But this is just kind of the way the board's falling, and I'm trying to be a little bit different today. As we are less than an hour from the actual draft. Falcons on the clock, desperate, need edge presence. They do not get the quarterback whatsoever. They don't pressure. They don't get sacks. They don't get TFLs. Mike Green's sitting here, and they're happy with that pick. Cardinals, they kind of have their weapons, I think. So you have Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride. They have James Conner at back, and a decent quarterback, Kyler Murray. Still could use some offensive line help and D-line. Nolan's still here on pick 16. I think they'd be happy with that. So let's go ahead and give him Walter Nolan. Bengals, desperate for defense as well. They kind of need just the entire defense. just they score 50 and give up 55. Like, they need something, and I think this game really is one in the trenches. So part of me wants to go D-line here. And you still have Kenneth Grant out of Michigan, who I think super underrated in this draft. And I think I'm going to have him go to Cincinnati here at pick 17. Pick 18, Seattle, switching it up quite a bit. They obviously go from Geno to Sam Darnold and get rid of their two cornerstone receivers in Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. And they have JSN, who is going to be a stud. They bring in Cooper Kupp. And now they got to protect these guys outside of the tackle position. They don't have any interior O-line play that I love, or that they love, honestly. They don't need tackle, though, so I don't really think there's an O-line pick here for them. They could use some edge help, get after the quarterback. I actually don't know who their tight end is. So I'm sitting here looking at Colston Loveland like that. Maybe they go tight end. Now I see who I'm going to give them. They still need to shore up this defense a bit, and Jalen Walker's such a freak athlete. We're going to have him go here at pick 18. Bucks are on the clock, and they need some edge help on this defense. They're pretty set on offense. Great O-line, good quarterback, great backs, two good receivers, and a third good receiver now. This is where Shamar Stewart goes, pick 19 to the Bucks. Now, Denver is ecstatic because they get a weapon for Bo Nix, a second weapon, and Sean Payton is happy with Igbuka here at 20. Just seems like he's a super smart player. And Sean Payton seems very keen on giving Bo Nix the best opportunity possible to succeed in this league. Now, the pick could easily be Colston Loveland here, but after the Evan Ingram acquisition. I don't think tight end's a huge hole now. Outside of Cortland Sutton, they really don't have a dependable receiver. So I think the defense, they spent money on defense in free agency. Now they're going to up the offense with Emeka Ibuka, my favorite receiver in this class at pick 20. Now, Steelers, there's a lot of different ways they can go just based on recent news would make me think maybe this is where Jackson Dart goes, shooting up the draft boards. I really don't buy it. I really don't. They do need some O line help. They have Pat Fryermuth at tight end. They don't need receivers. You could argue that they maybe need another corner or another like safety to pair with Minka. I just don't see it. I think they're desperate at quarterback, but they maybe don't go in here. Probably get a guy to sit behind Aaron Rodgers for a year or two in the second or third round. And I think they maybe just go best player available here and get Starks out of Georgia. You really can't go wrong with a Georgia defensive player. Just don't give him the keys. And the Charger fans rejoice because Golston Loveland falls into their lap at 22 in this scenario. Harbaugh gets his guy. Harbaugh football needs a good tight end, and the Chargers just didn't have one. And Loveland, who might be very easily the best tight end in the class, comes to them at 22, and he's a Michigan guy, so Harbaugh recruited him. He knows what he's capable of. That'll work out nicely for him. Packers here at 23 are happy because Barron's still on the board, and we don't know with the Jair Alexander situation how that's going to play out. So it doesn't hurt to go out and get another corner here. Kind of flying through these picks. I usually would maybe talk about them more, talk about the players more, but we're trying to get this uploaded pre-draft. Vikings here. I see. PFF, I don't understand the needs because they do not need a running back. DB they could use. They really got to shore up this defense for JJ. They got weapons. The O line's improved, not great. It's improving, so they could go Josh Simmons here. Uh, but they really could use some edge help or some interior D line help. I don't, you know, Nick Scorton could be the pick here. Really should have thought about this a bit more before I just hopped into this, but I was excited to make a mock draft and I wanted to get one out. So we are going to give them Donovan out of Boston College here, just based on need over talent, perhaps, because Campbell is an insane talent. Houston Texans. They're sitting here wishing Ibuka was still here, but he's not, and Luther Burden is, though. So our Stephon Diggs replacement is Luther Burden for Houston. And if it wants to, there we go. Good Lord, took its sweet time with that. LA Rams on the clock. Now the trend with the Rams is they draft defense and pay offense. And the defense is already pretty good and a little bit ahead of schedule here. They could use a tackle. And, I'm between Simmons or Zay, but I really think Simmons is more ready now, just like the Rams are ready to win now. So we're going to get some Stafford protection. The only weakness on that offense is tackle. So we're going to go out and get Josh Simmons for him. Baltimore Ravens. Interestingly, their defense took a step back last year, and the offense kind of carried them. Usually, it's kind of the other way. It's in previous years, it's been Lamar has no help on offense, no receivers, blah blah blah. This year, he had a lot of help, except when his team gave up points, and they need some edge help, they need DB help, and I think they'd be happy with either Amos or Scorton here, and I think Scorton I was gonna say is underrated, but Stewart's underrated. His counterpart at A&M there, absolute two-headed monster this past season. you know, with the regression of their star DBs, I really think they go corner here. So we're going to give them Trey Amos at pick 27. Lions on the clock. One of those rosters that are really good, so they don't have a ton of needs, but they are super happy with Jahad Campbell here. Falling to them, 13th best player on PFF. I don't think I agree with that, but it's still a great player, great value pick, and the best player on the board here at pick 28 for them. Solves a position of need, shore up that defense. It let them down in the end last year. I know their offense kind of turned the ball over a ton, but the defense didn't really keep them in the game either. So, pick 29. This is where I'm going to have Amarian Hampton go because they've talked all offseason about helping out Jaden Daniels even more. They don't need receiver. You could argue that they get a tackle or an edge to help combat the Eagles here. But they keep saying they want a back for Jaden Daniels, and they didn't really address that in free agency. Austin Eckler's injury prone, more of a receiving back. Hampton can touch the ball 15 times a game and rush easily for 100 yards. Absolute stud. And we're going to draft him here at pick 29. So two running backs go in the first round. Doesn't really happen often. And it is really slow. Like a lot of people must be doing mock drafts. Buffalo Bills. Again, just not a ton of needs. Just a pretty solid roster all around. You could argue they get younger on the boundary position or in the linebacker room. They don't need tackles. They could use an edge piece, so Scorton here wouldn't be a bad pick. Also, I hope I'm pronouncing these names right. If not, I'm so sorry. Um, I think they'd be happy with Nick Scorton, so let's give them Nick Scorton here at pick 30. Now, the Chiefs are salivating because Gray Zabel is available. They see a tackle that they can take, and I think that's the pick for them there. We saw in the Super Bowl, both their tackles let them down. There was just not that anybody's stopping the Eagles anyway, but it was so consistently getting to Mahomes that it was just, what is happening? So at the end of the day, it's a huge position of need. He's a pretty solid tackle prospect, and he falls in their lap. At pick 31, I think it's a no-brainer for him. Last pick, the Philadelphia Eagles. At best roster in football, you're really just drafting for depth. You don't need anybody here. Honestly, they might trade out of this spot. I very easily could see that happen. They they are known to just load up on receiver, so it could be the Stanford guy, Ayo Manor. I can never say his name right. And they you know what? They could use safety. And Xavier Watts is staring me in the face, and I think he is a absolute unit on the safety position. Benjamin Morrison's here. I like the Oregon tackle. They don't need tackle though. Kevin Winston. There's a lot of different ways they go. Honestly, if I'm Philly, I trade out. But they need, don't need. Need is a strong word. They, they could use some depth at corner because their two rookies last year are really all they got on the boundary. So it's really a matter of opinion on just what depth you want. Um, but we're gonna get them Benjamin Morrison here out of Notre Dame. And there is my one and only mock draft for this season. Here it is. I think it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's hard for me to see Shador get taken top three at this point, but I just kind of want to have some fun with this, be a little different because all day I've seen Ward, Hunter, Carter, Sanders way out of the top 15, which I'm not convinced happens. You'll notice I don't have Jackson Dart. I just don't buy it. I really don't. I'll be shocked if Jackson Dart is a first round pick. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy. You're probably watching this post draft because the draft is about to start. So if you are, I hope you had a great draft night, drank some beers, and hopefully you got the player you wanted for your team. I'm really crossing my fingers for a tackle and a receiver. But if Abdul Carter falls to us at 4, that's great too. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day, and I'll probably post some draft reactions to maybe how teams did post draft. Stay tuned for that. Have a good day.